substance abuse, watu wengine huenda hapo wakiwa promiscuous. And we are not addressing the underlying problem. When you see people consuming alcohol left, right and center, ama being promiscuous, atulizi why.
Nilikuwa na chiki documentary fulani maze kuna chali pia alikuwa abused as a young man, and the older he was getting alikuwa anasema, you know what, when I watch all these motivational videos for people like Andrew Tate nini anasema alikuwa na believe solutions, the healing process starts with himself. So anasema there is absolutely no, this is a guy alikuwa anasema there's absolutely no reason for him to go and seek help. Yeye alikuwa anasema he is the solution to all his problems, he has the answers nini yendo most I from within. Is that true? Can you actually heal yourself without reaching out to people out there, external factors, whatever, other people like psychiatrists, Can you successfully sort out your problems if at all you've been abused as a man, for example?
No, that's a lie. You have to go through a process.
It's impossible.
You have to go through a process. Na hiyo process lazima mtu mwingine ama program flani ikwe involved. Kwa sababu you see, the other person will be reflecting back what you are saying ama what you are doing, so that they ask their hard questions. Not unless you can ask yourself hard questions. Like, how has that ordeal changed you? And what you need to do. So it's a process that you need to seek help from a professional.
So Kanja sai, for example, as we speak, hivyo tukivana jaribu kusema hapa, kuna watu wengi sana wanasikiza hii show huko nje, kuna watu wamepitia hizi manoma pia. Unageni na unapata hadi wengi vile tu tumesema, unapata ni mtoi aliabiziwa na budake, budake ndio breadwinner kwa hiyo family, so mother hakuna venye anaweza ambia na hii story, or rather pia mother shahandangwa haizi ongea out hii story, unaona. So na akienda karao at the same time pia makarao hawamsaidii. Unaget? So kwa watu wako kwa mamtani, like those people from Mukuru kwa Jenga, because this thing they happen especially kwa maghetto sana. Ungewapatia ma-advice, ungeambia wanzie tu wapi, ni wapi papopa kwanza. Kuna magroup ziko kwa hizo mamtaa, kuna watu wanaweza pigiwa masimu ambazo wanaweza wekataya, hata unaweza kanisiri, lakini tunajua buda nani already ashastakiwa. Do they have something like those kwa sahi kwa hii system tuko nayo?
Iko. So under Wangu Kanja Foundation we have a toll free line 1519 1519. Mtu yote anaweza piga simu and then tunaona vile tunaweza kusaidia.
1519
1519 and it's at no cost. It's free. And the reason why tunauliza watu kama uwezi ongelesha polisi, kuja tuongee na wewe, and then tutakushika mkono tukuhelp. Tutaenda hosi, tutaenda kwa police station, tutaangalia environment yako, because at the end of the day ni what is in the best interest of you as a person. Kama ni watu wana face threats and intimidations, kuna vyenye tunawatoanga kwa hiyo environment through the help of children's office na other county departments to make sure that that person is safeguarded at the end of the day. So watu wasikufe peke yao, kwa sababu this is something that you can get through and come out a victor on the other side.
That's amazing. Now let me ask you something. There's this quote, wanasemanga hurt people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So is it true that utapata sasa ma victims pia, especially the ones when hawajapata help, who haven't healed, utapata some of them get out there now, they're pissed, wanataka ku revenge. Now unapata ana generalize, anasema madem wote ni wabaya. Ever since my auntie did things to me when I was young, now this guy amekuwa sasa like is it like an incel? What's the word? Anaanza tu kuchukia madem, or the opposite, madem wanachukia machali. Do we have cases like that? Now we start generalizing and looking at everyone as bad.
Kwa sababu one of the things watu wanaangalia ni kama vile watu wanasemanga either madem wote ni maumbo ama machali wote ni maumbo. It's a false, kwa sababu si watu wote wabaya. It's impossible, yeah. And then also hurting people hurt others. Kumbuka, as you grow, you're picking baggage from your parents, from the community, from your relatives, kwa sababu kuna watu watakuja kuambia wewe ni mjinga kama mama yako, uko na tabia mbaya kama. So all that is baggage that you're collecting along your life, and then this incident happens, una confirm, by the way, mimi ni mbaya. So what you need to do, need to go through a healing journey. because I can't say it's a process, it's a journey.
Even if just a second Kevo, hata kama ili happen kitambo utapata sasa labda buda fulani alikuanga sodomized or whatever, now he's at an older age, but unapata umse ukuanga na matemper, is always very harsh to his children, or even the wife. The wife has some secrets. Can they revisit and actually heal after an ordeal that happened 30 years ago?
40,
they can.
50.
They can.
It's possible.
It's possible because there are programs out there that are able to help you to now look at your issues. Nini, what's the root cause? And if this is the root cause, how do we remedy it? Because there is a way you can actually address your childhood trauma, the ordeal that you went through, for you to be a new you. You're not going to go to your older self. You're going to be your new you.
You mentioned forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean in a context like that?
Okay, I'll explain it from my context. I had to release the person. The person committed a crime. Yes, we should hold them accountable. But for me to start my healing journey, ni kusema, I forgive you for violating me, because also that's a healing process where I'm taking my power back. Unajua nika vile mtu anasemanga unachukia mtu mpaka ukimuona una throw up. But you see, huyo mtu hana shughuli na wewe, alimove kitambo. But sasa wewe bado unamhold 10 years later, 20 years later, you're still holding on to that anger, resentment towards that person. It doesn't help. Utakuwa na ulcers, utakuwa na migraines, utaenda into depression. Huyo mtu alimove on na anaendelea life yake free.
Hapo nyuma nimesikia ukisema watu waende kwa the real people, psychiatrists, ni kwa situation kayo. Yet kwa hizi mamta zetu, hizi mageto zetu, ambapo hizo ma crimes wapenia sana, kuna makanisa zaidi ya 1000. Unagain, bali nimesikia umesema tu direct. Si ati muende kwa pastor ati ya kuombea, kwanza kuambia hapa hii mambo imeisha. Au believe au mapasta pia yuko na job ya kudu ya kurudisha mtu kwa hiyo game, ama you just don't believe in those things kulingana vile mambo ya kanisa pia imekuwa ikifanya.
Unajua na avoid kuambia watu waende kwa kanisa, because most of the time tumekuwa too religious. Mali tunasema forgive that brother or that woman because ni devil alikuwa mempossessed. Wacha ku blame the devil. It's a human being who committed the crime. And okay, shetani sijukula liingililia hapo hivyo. So let's hold that person accountable, but then also to understand ndio church zinaweza kuwa na mafunzo, nini processes za kuhelp watu kurecover ama start their healing journey, but then you need to vet. Si kila mtu yuko in your best interest. Wengine tu ni kuhype tunaweza fanya. And then also prayer is good, like I believe in prayer, but then you have to accompany an action with prayer.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, let's look at example ya Mwende. Mwende alienda church mara ngapi? Kusema husband yake anamchapa leo, kesho kutwa, eventually walimchop mikono zake mbili. So it requires for us to have a candid conversation, whether it's from the pulpit or from civil society organizations or from mental health institutions that are providing support to survivors. We need to have a candid conversation. Na lazima mtu anze, it's a journey. You have to start by one thing, coming out and saying, I was violated and I need to start this process.
That. Now, before we take a break, how does healing look like if you can actually see the perpetrator in your community every day? Wamepewa bail, but you're saying, the healing actually has to start. You need to start talking. Is it possible? No, jamaa tu anatembea hapa, he's just around.
It's possible because it's not about them, it's about you. There's a process that will hold them accountable. But sasa hii ni juu yako. Kama Wangu, where do you want to get in the next 10 years? How do you want your life to look like? Unataka continue consuming alcohol to numb your pain? Ama unataka to start your healing journey so that you can thrive?
Now, is my crime? All these SGBV cases, are they mostly in rural settings or urban settings?
I can assure you it happens in every context.
Just the same rate.
Lavi, Kile, Mukuru kwa Ruben, Ushago, in major towns, as in it's happening everywhere. The only thing is we have not given confidence to survivors to get to a point where they are saying it's happening here. Kujeni mtu saidie.
And what about those safe houses? Are there just as much uko pia mashambani?
Okay, so let's acknowledge one thing. We don't have government safe houses. This is the time government is trying to set up safe houses in each and every county. I don't know whether you saw the National Government Affirmative Fund.
Yes,
they've actually putting up 8. They put out a tender. In Nairobi, we've the women rep and the county government is setting up one karibu na mji wa wazee. But then that's not enough, because you know survivors si homogeneous. Sexual violence, domestic violence, trafficking, hawa tu ni tofauti sana na interventions zao pia ni tofauti. Hawezi sema tunawaweka nyinyi wote hapa alafu tulampiwa hapa alafu tuseme hii program ita work for nyinyi wote. Whatever a person goes through traffic, especially when a person is being trafficked for sexual exploitation, is totally different from a person who has been raped in a domestic setup.
All right.
And also like a sex worker, tofauti na domestic work ni tofauti.
All right guys, kumbuka we're having a very powerful conversation hapa hivi maze. Tuko na Wangu Kanja. She's the founder Wangu Kanja Foundation, and today it is all about restoring dignity to survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. If you have any comments ama swali, tupige simu. Lines ziko open guys. 0719012700. We're live www.vibesradio.co